What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated 3-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, and the reigning pound for pound #1 best fighter in the world in Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford is 40 wins, no losses, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout. He is 36 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Terence Crawford is coming off of the biggest, most marquee win of his career, July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, when he took on and defeated now former unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Earl the Truth Spence Jr., who is now 28 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, there has been a lot taking place leading up into the Errol Spence fight. There's a lot taking place after the Errol Spence fight. And Terence Crawford seems to have grown fatigue of the whole situation with Errol Spence and with the sport of boxing and the lack of appreciation. As Terence Crawford, he recently stated, which is getting a lot of headlines today, and a lot of people asking me, Terence Crawford said he's going to retire. Now, Terence Crawford, he responded to some statements made by Errol Spence Jr. as of late, where Errol Spence claimed prior to the fight that he had a broken rib. He had to get shots, injections into his side. He could not properly train and spar a month before the fight. He also stated that he had cataracts that was preventing him and blinding his vision. Okay, was restricting his vision. He had to have that corrected. He had that going into the fight with Terence Crawford. He also felt he was weight drained going into the fight with Terence Crawford. So essentially, Terence Crawford gets zero credit for his accomplishments in the Errol Spence fight, which turned out to be one-sided. Errol Spence got stopped in the 9th round. And Terence Crawford is now looking at from the standpoint of lack of appreciation. He's not appreciated in the sport of boxing. And now everybody's throwing at him a fight that they want to see. Me, myself, I want to see. And that's a fight between himself and undefeated, newly crowned IBF, International Boxing Federation, welterweight world champion, the Phenom, as I refer to him as, in Jaron Boots Ennis, who is 31 wins, no loss, no draw, 28 big wins by way of knockout, 26 years of age, 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. Terence Crawford inherited Jaron Boots Ennis as his mandatory because Jaron Boots Ennis was initially the mandatory challenger for Errol Spence in the IBF title. They petitioned the president, Mr. Darrell Peoples, to get their opportunity to fight Errol Spence, but the highly anticipated fight was Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. And so, obviously, they weren't going to stand in the way of that. But Terence Crawford beating Errol Spence and then becoming an IBF champion, he inherited Jaron Boots Ennis as a mandatory challenger, and Jaron Boots Ennis and his father, trainer, and manager, Bolte Ennis, have been pushing to get their opportunity, as they should. The IBF, of the understanding that Terence Crawford has to fulfill his obligation, which is an automatic rematch clause, immediate rematch clause, with Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. well in his right to activate the rematch clause, in which he did, which restricts Terence Crawford from doing many other things and fighting anybody else. He has no flexibility. He has to honor that and fight Errol Spence Jr. And so that means, obviously, he cannot fight Jaron Boots Ennis. Okay? So, with that said, the IBF stripped Terence Crawford of his title, knowing he has to fight Errol Spence. Elevated Jaron Boots Ennis. Nothing Terence Crawford can do. Nothing Jaron Ennis can do. All comes down to Errol Spence. So, now you had these claims, and now people are saying that he's avoiding and ducking Jaron Boots Ennis, right? And Terence Crawford is at 36 years of age, 35 at the time. He turned 36 in September. But at the time he fought Errol Spence, he just got his marquee fight. He's been considered the best fight in the world since he beat Julius Ndongo for undisputed at 140. And two-division world champion, Hall of Fame iconic superstar boxer, Olympic gold medalist, Andre S.O.G. Ward retired. Andre Ward was considered pound for pound best fighter in the world. Andre Ward was a two-division champion. He was undefeated, and he was the unified champion 168, and he beat the boogeyman Sergey Crusher Kovalev at 175. But then he retired prematurely due to injuries to his knees and wear and tear to his body, and he felt like his body was breaking down, so he called it quits. And so with that said, Terence Crawford had been the number 2 pound for pound best fighter behind only Andre Ward. When Andre Ward stepped away, Terence Crawford grabbed the mantle, became undisputed, and the rest is history. So he's been the pound for pound best fighter in the world, considered, since about 2017, 2018. Okay, this is 2024. And he just don't get the credit and the just dues he deserved because he lacked the marquee names on his resume. When he was at 140, he had guys like Danny Garcia, Lucas Matisse. They wouldn't fight him. He had Lamont Peterson. They wouldn't take the fight. Okay, so he was not able to get the fight with those type of marquee names at 140. And when he was at 135, he could not get the marquee names at 135. Okay, he just been unable to, and these fights have been eluding him. And part of it is Terence Crawford's decision to be with legendary promoter, Top Rank CEO Bob Arum and Top Rank. And so what that does is that created a division, a roadblock that prevented him from fighting some of these big marquee names, right? So with that said, Terence Crawford finally became a network promotional free agent, but he did so in 2022 after he beat 2-time welterweight world champion, now retired future Hall of Famer, Showtime Sean Porter. So he got the Sean Porter fight, but it was viewed as being too late. Sean Porter wasn't the same guy. 1 foot in the sport, 1 foot out. He got the fight with Kell Brook, but he was seen to be damaged goods. He got the fight now with Errol Spence, and he's being viewed as, well, damaged goods. So it's out of Terence Crawford's control. Now everybody's pushing him in the direction of fighting Jaron Boots Ennis. Jaron Boots Ennis has all the skills, all the potential to be great. I think he's the best athlete we've seen in the sport of boxing since one Roy Jones Jr., legendary, iconic Hall of Fame superstar boxer. I think we're seeing the best, Roy Jones reincarnated, right, in the sport. Now, I feel like Jaron Ennis is more fundamentally disciplined than Roy Jones. I think Roy Jones was just a little more twitchy, faster hands, faster feet, just a little more twitchy, but Jaron Ennis is not far behind. But he hasn't proven it, right? I believe that he'll beat all these guys. I believe he can compete with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. I feel like he's on the same level, but he hasn't proven it. They have, okay? And so because of that, Jaron Boots Ennis he's a generation behind Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, 36, he's 26, right? He's a generation behind. He's 10 years younger. But does the fight generate the money that Terence Crawford is looking to gain at this stage of his career? Does it represent a marquee win on his resume moving forward? Because you see, should Terence Crawford fight and beat Jaron Boots Ennis, it's going to be viewed as, well, Jaron Ennis never proven anything. He's never beaten anybody. We're basing it off of potential. Just like when Terence Crawford beat the likes of Victor Postol. When he beat Yuriorkis Gamboa, who's undefeated, there was always an asterisk by it. And so if he fights and beats Jaron Boots Ennis, there will be an asterisk by that as well, okay? And so with that said, we got to see how this unfolds and plays out moving forward with Terence Crawford and his career, because he's now alluding to one more fight and he's possibly done. So a lot of people are taking it and they're saying Terence Crawford is announcing his retirement. What he did do today was announce that he is back in the gym, back training, which looks like he's preparing for the rematch with Errol Spence because, well, simply he has no other way to go. Now, he did say a message to Errol Spence, I'm glad this is over. I heard all the excuses. We did what we did. I wish you well. Errol Spence responded and said, stop being in emotions and let's run it back. It looks like he's going to have to run it back. What other direction? The dominoes fell out of place for him. He wanted to fight with Jermell Charlo for undisputed at 154. Guess what? Jermell Charlo got an opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez, dared to be great, and Jermell Charlo's in hot water right now. So he lost to Canelo Alvarez, and now he's stripped of his titles. Canelo Alvarez doesn't show much interest in Terence Crawford. So what direction can he go in? Errol Spence. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV. All one word. That's all I got for y'all. I'm gone. Peace.